Hello, my name is Jenna Petersen, and I am an Indiana State LPN to BSN student. This is my community health education project for Nursing 444 Community Health. Today I'll be discussing advocating for safe consumption sites. Please take time before this presentation to use the link below for a quick pre-test. Today we'll be discussing the scope of overdose deaths and injection-related infections, the impact of safe consumption sites, other ways safe consumption sites can be used for community outreach, advocating for safe consumption sites within our communities, and other resources you can use regarding safe consumption. First, we will discuss the problem and the scope of overdose deaths and injection-related infections. In Multnomah County, which includes Portland, Oregon, there were over 500 reported overdose responses in 2015. More than 1 in 5 of those responses resulted in a fatality, and more than half of the responses were in public areas or at a local business. In the United States, over 5,000 overdose deaths were reported in 2015. In 2019, this has risen to over 16,000, and the trend continues upward. In our area, 50% of heroin users surveyed were reported the desire to quit or reduce their use, but faced barriers for treatment. And over 77% of syringe exchange clients reported homelessness or unstable housing. This is associated with high-risk injection behaviors such as needle sharing or reusing. But it is more than just overdoses that impacts our communities. People who inject drugs are at a high risk for injection-related infections such as hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV. This may lead to costly and resource-intensive hospitalizations. It is not uncommon for people who inject drugs to be seen for a long period of time with chronic illnesses, chronic wounds, and costly surgeries, and often costly IV antibiotics for 6+ weeks. Haven Wheelock, a needle exchange program coordinator for Outside In, states, "Yes, we need to look at prevention, but we need to keep people alive. We need supportive environments, and we create those in harm reduction services." The impact of safe consumption sites. So what is a safe consumption site? Safe consumption sites are facilities where people can use drugs under the supervision of trained personnel. This provides an alternative to public injection. The safe consumption site model is evidence-based and promotes safety, public health, and connection to supportive health services. It is not a place to purchase drugs. Facility members do not interact with the substances brought in, but can provide a clean space and offer resources such as hand washing, sterile supplies, testing supplies, etc. There are more than 100 sites worldwide, and there have been no fatal overdoses on site. Safe consumption sites are currently not legal in the U.S., though some states do have programs in place and initial legislation has begun. Other benefits of safe consumption sites include increased entry into substance use disorder treatment, reduced overall use and amount of client drug use, reduced public injecting behaviors, managing on-site overdoses and reducing overdose death rates, cost reduction related to reduced disease, overdose treatment, and need for emergency services, and increased delivery of medical and social services to an underserved and difficult to reach population. Other ways safe consumption sites are used for community outreach. Safe consumption sites also often provide other services such as counseling, health education, supportive housing and detox, street outreach programs, and social services. Advocating for safe consumption sites within our communities. Studies from other countries have shown that supervised injection facilities reduce the number of overdose deaths, reduce transmission rates of infectious disease, and increase the number of individuals initiating treatment for substance use disorders without increased drug trafficking or crime in the areas where facilities are located. This is a quote from the American Medical Association. We should support safe consumption sites because they are not shown to increase crime or drug trafficking, can reduce costs related to infections and emergency services related to overdose and injecting practices. It is supported by the American Medical Association. It is known to actually reduce drug use and frequency in clients. We can reach patients where they are and encourage safe practices if and when they are going to use. Utilizing other names such as harm reduction facilities can increase support from our communities. We can also use names such as safe injection space or overdose prevention sites. Non-judgment and harm reduction can reach more and reduce the vicious cycle of hospitalization to the streets and back. Other resources regarding safe consumption sites. You can visit these websites for more information: yes2scs.org and harmreduction.org. Now we can take a post-test to see what we've learned. You can use the link below to access the handout as well, or stay until after this presentation to see them here. For more information, you can also see these references utilized in this presentation. Thank you, and please stick around if you'd like to see the informational handout and the pre-post test.